Hello guys, I hope you have gone through proposition 1 and proposition 2 in the previous video. So in this session what I am going to do is, as I told you in the last video, I am going to introduce you guys to proposition 1 and 2 with the help of a numeric illustration, right? So there are basically two questions, and question number 1 is on right, when there are no taxes, that is perfect market, how does capital structure affect A. Dividend per share, B. Equity beta, C. Cost of debt, cost of equity and cost of capital, D. Cash flows to debt holders, equity holders and firm, E. Value of debt, equity and firm, F. Market price per share, G. proposition 1, that is initial, and the last one H. Initial proposition 2, right? I request you to look at question number 1, right? Lot of sub questions are there. So that means the crux of question 1 is, right, when there are no taxes, there are no flotation cost or transaction cost, when there are no bankruptcy problems, right, and when the market is perfect or efficient, that means everybody is having equal information. So whether capital structure matters or not, okay? So that means we are going to go through an illustration wherein we are going to prove that capital structure is irrelevant using the data given in that illustration, right? So that is what question number 1. Question number 2 is a practical one, right? So here we are relaxing all those 4 assumptions, and when you are assuming there are taxes, that means imperfect market, how does capital structure affect A. Dividend per share, B. Levered or equity beta, C. Cost of debt, cost of equity and cost of capital, D. Cash flows to debt holders, equity holders and the firm, E. Value of debt, equity and firm, F. Market price per share, G. Revised proposition 1, and the last one revised proposition 2. Okay, yeah. So I am taking you through a numeric illustration. The name of the company is Sion Utsav Nitish Limited, Sun Limited. Their latest financial income statement in terms of INR crores are given like this. It's a vertical statement starting with a revenue of 15,000 crores minus operating expenses including depreciation amortization of 10,000 crores, giving us EBIT or operating income of 5,000 crores. If you subtract interest is 0 because right now the firm is unlevered. Lever means borrowing, unlevered means the company is not having any borrowing, right? So that means fully funded by equity capital, right? That's where you talk about unlevered firm. So that means there is no debt, so that means there is no interest, so that means interest is 0. So what we are getting is EBIT minus EBT, earnings before tax, 5,000 crores it is, minus taxes. There is no tax because we are assuming, right, the very first proposal of Madigilini Miller, wherein we assume there are no taxes, so tax is 0. So that gives us PAT of 5,000 crores, which is equal to dividend because the company is following 100% dividend payout. So that means whatever is their profit, they are going to declare as dividend to the shareholders. That means retained earnings are 0, right? So PAT is 5,000 crores divided by number of equity shares. Initially it is 500 crores, 500 numbers, it is 500 crores in number, right? So that is going to give you dividend per share of INR 10, okay? This is what their latest income statement. Now let's look at their balance sheet. So it's a simple balance sheet, amount in INR crores, current assets are 7,000 crores, non-current assets are 8,000 crores, total assets amount to 15,000 crores. Current liabilities, okay, please note that there is no short-term borrowing, right? So that means there is no short-term debt, so that is 0. So except short-term debt, right, whatever other current liabilities are there, so that is amounting to 5,000 crores for this firm in their latest financial years, right? Long-term debt is 0, owner's equity is 10,000, so total of L and OE is 15,000. Please note the important point, right now debt is 0, okay? So that means it is an unlevered firm, right? Yeah. These are all the additional information about this company, right? Number 1, Sun Limited's profitability, revenue and operating data remains flat in the recent past. The company's current market price CMP per equity share is at INR 71.43. The share trades in the range of INR 65 to INR 75 in the past 2 financial years, right? So firm's CEO Divya Sukul Randir DSR plans to increase the share price by going for recapitalization. Recapitalization means changing the capitalization. That means changing the debt equity mix. That is what recapitalization, right? So right now they are not having any borrowing. So the company would like to go for borrowing. Thereby they would like to see whether it is increasing the share price for the company or not, right? So presently it is unlevered. That's what I am talking about. Zero debt firm. Its policy is 100% dividend payout. Dividend payout formula, if you want to go by aggregate, that is dividend, total dividend divided by total PAT. If you want to go on per share basis, it is DPS, dividend per share divided by earnings per share. So that is considered to be 100%, right? I already told you, correct? Yeah, right. So company is right now, right, unlevered. They want to go for, right, borrowing, right? That is where you talk about the recapitalization plan, right? So its present unlevered equity beta is 1.2 times. It operates in perfect market. Current tax rate is 0%. However, the government is contemplating to introduce 30% corporate tax from this year onwards. Interest on borrowing would be tax deductible under the new taxation law, new taxation regime. Government also plans to introduce the bankruptcy code from this year. Both government and companies or firms borrow at 8% at present, which is expected to remain same in the future or at least the near future. So recapitalization plan, right, goes like this. Before that, let's find out the current cost of equity for the firm using the CAPM formulation, capital asset pricing model, risk-free rate plus equity beta into risk premium, wherein risk-free rate and risk premium are one and the same for all the companies operating in a particular country. Only equity beta is going to change for companies, right? So that means risk-free rate is 8% for all the companies in this country, and their equity risk premium is 5%, and the equity beta of the company presently it is unlevered, so you can call it as unlevered equity beta, that is 1.20. okay, so if you go for simplification, it is going to be 8% plus 1.20 into 5, so that means the cost of equity of the company at its present status quo is 14%. Debt is cheaper at 8% compared to equity at 14%, which is costlier. So obviously the CEO will make will go for right, preferring debt compared to equity because debt is a cheaper source of funding. So our guy is also doing that. Randir is doing that, right? He wants to make use of the cheaper source of funding. So the recapitalization plan, right, goes like this. The company will issue new debt for INR 5,000 crores, will get the proceeds by issuing debt securities and use that money to buy back the equity shares of the company, which is trading at the current market price of INR 71.43 per share, right? So this is what the right kind of problem all about. And the last data point is this: number of shares after recapitalization is going to be 500 crores right now. That is the number of equity shares. You are going to issue debt for 5,000 crores and you are going to buy back shares from the market at the rate of 71.43. So that means 5,000 by 71.43 will give you near about 70 crores. So that means 500 crores minus 70 crores. So that means the number of outstanding shares, right, after the recapitalization will be, guys, 430 crores, right? Yeah. Any doubt here? Yeah. Correct. I hope you are getting it right. Yeah. Right. So let me take you to question number 1. Yeah. You need to have patience because we are going to talk about number of questions, right? Yeah. Question number 1 is this: under perfect market with no taxes, compute the impact of recapitalization on A. DPS, B. levered or equity beta, C. cost of debt, cost of equity and WACC, D. cash flow to debt, equity holders and firm, E. value of debt, equity and firm, F. market price per share, G, right, initial proposition 1, H, initial proposition 2, right? Yeah, without taking much time, let me take you to, right, A. That means what is the impact of the recapitalization on dividend per share, right? Please remember, right, for all these, right, questions, we are assuming that there are no taxes, okay? There are only two scenarios, that is no debt and debt, okay, for INR 5,000 crores. So assuming, right, so there are no taxes, how it is going to impact the DPS is a question. To put it in other words, whether borrowing is going to increase the dividend per share for the company or not is the very first question we are interested in answering here, right? Yeah. So let me take you through the numbers. Start with the right projection of income statement under the no debt scenario and the debt scenario. Start with the revenue of 15,000 crores. It will not change whether you borrow or not. So it is remaining same. Minus OPEX or operating expenses, including depreciation amortization, 10,000 crores it is written in bracket. It will not change whether you borrow or not. So I have written the same numbers, right? What is the next one? Panindra, EBIT. So EBIT is 5,000 crores for both the scenarios. So that means up to this number, there are no changes whether you borrow, right, money or not. Okay. So after that, go for removing I from EBIT. That means interest on debt at 8%. When there is no debt, interest is 0. When there is debt, Navneet, how much is the number? What is the number? Yeah. So it is going to be amount of borrowing 5,000 crores into interest rate 8%. So into 8 by 100 is going to give how much, Kirti? 400 crores, right? So find out EBT now. EBIT minus interest. 5,000 minus 0, 5,000 when there is no debt. When there is debt, it is going to be 5,000 minus 400, 4,600. Minus taxes. There are no taxes, so that means tax is 0 under both the options, right? So that means PAT is nothing but EBT, and the company is following 100% dividend payout. So that means PAT is equal to dividend, which is equal to 5,000 crores under the first option of no debt, and it is equal to 4,600 crores under the option of debt, right? So right now you may misunderstand here. You may conclude that the option of borrowing reduces the PAT. So that means we should not go for borrowing, right? But that is not true, okay? How am I saying this? I am saying with confidence because we are going to work out the next number, right? So that means divided by number of shares. When there are no borrowings, the number of equity shares are 500 crores. Please look at the other option. When there are borrowings, the number of equity shares are not 500, rather it is 430. So that means how do you get 430 crores? Okay, Abhijit, could you tell me? Right, it is going to be 500 original number of shares minus 5,000 crores, which is used for buying back shares, divided by current market price at which you are buying back shares, 71.43 per share, which is going to give you 70. So it means 500 minus 70, how much you are getting? 430, right? Yeah. So if you do this, you are getting dividend per share, that is INR 10 per share for the first option. Okay. Whereas for the option of borrowing, it is INR 10.70 per share. Please look at the computation once again, right? So that means total dividend, that is PAT, because there is no retained earnings, divided by number of shares under the option of, right, no debt, is giving INR 10 per share. Under the option of debt, 4,600 total dividend divided by number of shares of 430 crores gives you dividend per share of how much? INR 10.70 per share. Okay. Now you guys please look at the contradiction. If you go by total number, it looks like, right, no debt policy is giving higher dividend. But if you go by per share dividend, it tells you borrowing actually helps the company. Borrowing actually helps the equity shareholders in terms of getting higher dividend per share. So that means it looks like that even when there is no tax, the dividend per share goes up for the equity shareholders when the company borrows money. Am I right? Yeah? Very good. So let me take you to the second question here, right? So what is the second question? Very important question, right? The first one is on the impact of the borrowing on dividend per share. The second one is on, right, measuring the impact of borrowing on the levered beta, otherwise known as equity beta of the company, right? Yeah. So levered means borrowing, I told you, right? So that means when the company is borrowing, its equity beta is known as levered beta, LB. When the company does not have any debt, its equity beta is known as unlevered beta. Sometimes you may also call it as asset beta. Okay, so that means what is the number here? When there is no debt, the equity beta, that is unlevered equity beta, is 1.20, right? Now we have to measure levered beta under the option of borrowing, right? So that means when you borrow, what happens is your risk actually goes up, right? Risk is coming basically from three sources in finance. Very first one is the business you do that gives you the risk, right? The second one is your operating leverage. That means ratio of fixed cost to total cost, right? That also gives you the risk. And the third one is financial leverage. That is your borrowing, right? So that means when you borrow, your risk is also going to go up, right? Yeah. So what is the formula for levered beta? Levered beta is equal to unlevered beta into 1 plus 1 minus t by d by e. Okay. So unlevered beta is 1.20. Please look at these numbers, right? Yeah. Unlevered beta is 1.20. Just we derived from the original problem, 1.20. Tax rate is 0% here. Debt is 5,000 crores. That is the new debt we are going to mobilize. And equity, initially it is 500 crores into 71.43. I am not taking the book debt from the balance sheet, right? So for finding out the cost of capital, cost of equity and valuation purposes, or for any computation in finance, it is suggested you take market value of equity. So that means what is that market value of equity? That is nothing but number of shares into market price per share. So that means 500 into 71.43 gives you your market value of equity of 35,715 crores. That is the initial number, right? Now what is happening? Out of this 35,715 crores, we have bought back shares worth 5,000 crores, right? So what is your revised equity then? 35,715 minus 5,000. So that means the revised equity is 30,715 crores. What is your revised debt equity ratio then? It is nothing but revised debt. From 0 it is going up to 5,000 divided by revised equity. It is coming down from 35,715 to 30,715, right? So what is your revised number here? That means debt equity number here, D by E, 5,000 by 30,715 gives you D by E revised of 0.1628, right? So please look at the numbers once again. In finance, we are going to go by market numbers. We are not going to go by accounting numbers or balance sheet numbers or book value numbers. So that means we are going to compute what is the market value of equity initially. That is number of shares into price per share at present. That is 500 into 71.43 gives us the value of 35,715 crores. Now out of this number we have bought back 5,000 crores worth of shares. That means the revised market value is going to be 35,715 minus 5,000. So that is giving us 30,715. And the debt we are issuing is 5,000 crores. So what is the debt equity ratio then? 5,000 by 30,715, that is giving us revised D by E of 0.1628. So put this number in your LB formula, levered beta formula, which is equal to unlevered beta, that is 1.20 into 1 plus 1 minus tax rate, that is 0, T is 0, into D by E, that is 0.1628. So which is going to be 1.20 into 1.1628, which is giving us levered beta of 1.3954. Earlier it was 1.20. Because of your borrowing, your risk is increasing by 0.1954, right? So that means what? More the borrowing, more is your risk, right? So this is the answer for your second question. That means so far we have done in terms of impact of recapitalization on two questions. One is dividend per share. Second one is what happens to your levered equity beta, right? The third one is what is the impact of recapitalization on cost of debt, cost of equity and cost of capital, right? So let's look at cost of debt first. COD, I have written COD. Okay, so this is pre-tax cost of debt, right? So that is 8% for both the options, but for the first option it is irrelevant because you are not borrowing. For the second option, it is 8%. Since there is no tax, the pre-tax and post-tax cost of debt is exactly 8%, right? Yeah. So let's go for the next one. Yeah. The next one is cost of equity. Okay. So cost of equity formula again CAPM, risk-free rate plus beta into risk premium. So that means 8% plus 1.2 into risk premium 5% when you are not having any debt, right? So that is giving COE of 14%. Whereas when you are going for borrowing, it is going to be 8% plus 1.3954 into 5. We have increased the levered beta, right? So that means from 1.2 it has gone up to 1.3954. Please note that the risk-free rate and risk premium is remaining same. The only number that is changing in cost of equity computation is what? Your right equity beta, correct na? So Rishabh, yeah, Sagar. So how much we are getting, Anshman? It is 14.98%, right? So that means cost of equity is going up from 14% to 14.98% because of your borrowing. So it looks like it's not a desirable feature, right? Yeah, correct. Why is it happening? Why don't you guys think about it? This is happening because the equity shareholders are taking more risk, right? They're taking more risk because they have to share their wealth with the right debt holders. And I also told you that the cost of debt, right? So that means there are three costs, na? One is your bankruptcy cost, second one is your conflict between equity and debt holders, and the third one is right rigidity in future financing plan, right? Yeah. So that's what we are talking about, right? Yeah. The last one is WACC. So weighted average cost of capital. Okay, formula is this. We will find out first post-tax cost of debt. We'll multiply that with the ratio of debt to total value. Value in the denominator is nothing but sum of market value of equity and market value of debt, right? And then we will add with that cost of equity multiplied by equity by value, right? So let's do that. For the first option, that means the option of no borrowing, the WACC is 14% because there is no debt here. So that means cost of equity, please move up a little bit. Cost of equity is becoming your WACC because there is no debt here, okay? Whereas when you are borrowing, it is going to change, right? How it is going to change, right? So let's look at that. So your cost of debt is going to be 8% into 1 minus tax rate, that is 0. That means, right, how much it is? It is 8% only into ratio of debt in total capital or total market value of firm, right? So it is 1.12. I repeat, 8% pre-tax cost of debt into 1 minus t is 0 into debt by total value, that is 5000 by 35,715 gives us the number of 0.14, right? So that means the net number you are getting is 1.12. The weighted cost of debt in your WACC computation is 1.12 plus weighted cost of equity in the computation of WACC. We have to compute that. So that is nothing but cost of equity 14.98% into equity by value, that is 3715 divided by 35715. Okay, so that is giving us 12.88. So add these two, 12.88 plus 1.12, that gives us 14%. So that is what your WACC. So please look at the WACC number, right? WACC number is remaining same. When there are no taxes, whether you borrow or not, the WACC is going to remain at the same level. But what happens to cost of debt? Okay, of course the first option there is no cost of debt, so it remains the same. Okay, whereas in the second option, I mean cost of equity, what happens, right? Cost of equity actually goes up from 14% to 14.98%, right? So that means when there are no taxes, the weighted average cost of capital remains at the same level between the option of borrowing and not borrowing, whereas the cost of equity goes up for the borrowing option compared to the not borrowing option. Cost of debt, of course, right, there are no tax, so that means we can say that that is also remaining same, right? Yeah. So the risk is getting transferred to the equity shareholders when you are talking about the option of, right, no taxes, right? Yeah. So let me take you to, right, question D. Right, when there are no taxes, what is the impact on cash flow to debt holders, equity holders and the firm, right? The cash flow to debt holders, right, it is nothing but the interest they are getting from the firm, When there is no debt, it is 0. When there is debt, it is 400 crores. The cash flow to equity holders is nothing but the dividend they are getting from the company. So when there is no debt, they are getting 5,000 crores. When there is debt, they are getting only 4,600 crores. So that means the total cash flow in aggregate terms is coming down. What is the cash flow to the firm? The formula is EBIT into 1 minus T. Okay, so don't add these two, right? Sometimes you may not get them equal to, right, the firm cash flow. So what you do is simply multiply EBIT into 1 minus T. So that means EBIT is 5,000 into 1 minus T is 0, gives us 5,000 crores as the cash flow to the firm. What about the other option? The other option, it is going to be again 5,000 crores. So that means EBIT into 1 minus T gives us 5,000 crores, right? So let's look at the cash flows now. Let's compare, right, the scenarios. When there is no debt, right, compare that with the option of debt. What happens is debt to cash flow or cash flow to debt holders is going up. Whereas the cash flow to equity shareholders are coming down in aggregate terms, right? And the cash flow to the firm is remaining at the same level, right? So one is going up, that is cash flow to debt holders. Other one is coming down, right? So that is your cash flow to equity holders. Whereas cash flow to the firm remain at the same level of INR 5,000 crores, right? Yeah, I take you to the fifth question here. What is the impact of, right, recapitalization on value of debt, equity and firm? Value of debt formula is interest divided by pre-tax cost of debt. When there is no debt, value is 0. When there is debt, value is going to be interest, that is 400 crores, divided by pre-tax cost of debt, that is 0.08, gives us the value of how much? 5,000 crores. Okay, that is exactly the amount of borrowing the company is planning to do, right? Yeah, so that means our computation is right. Second one is value of equity. Formula is dividend by cost of equity. Okay, so there are many ways to compute value of equity. One of the ways is this. So that means dividend by cost of equity. So that means what is the number here? 5,000 crores divided by cost of equity 0.14 gives us the value of the firm. How much it is? 35,715 crores, right? What about the next one? Right, Gayatri, could you please tell us? Right, so next one is going to be, right, what is the, right, dividend, right, 4,600 crores divided by what is the revised cost of equity, that is 0.1498. So that gives us the value of equity, that is 30,708 crores, right? Let's look at the value of the firm. What is the formula, right? Formula is EBIT into 1 minus T divided by WACC. So when there is no debt, could you guys please find out, right, what is the value of the firm? Saad, Sarans, Jayant, yeah. So EBIT into 1 minus T, right, under the option of no debt is 5,000 crores divided by WACC is 14% 0.14 gives us the total value of the firm at 35,715 crores. When you are having borrowing, the second option, EBIT into 1 minus T is 5,000 divided by WACC remains at the same level of 0.14 or 14% gives us the value of the firm at 35,715 crores, right? So that means what can we conclude from this, right? What can we conclude from this? When the company is borrowing, value to debt holders is increasing. Value of equity holders is coming down in aggregate. Okay. Value to the firm remains at the same level when we are talking about absence of tax. So that means when there are no taxes, when there is perfect market, that means no flotation cost or transaction cost. Okay, no bankruptcy cost, and you also, right, don't have inefficient market. That means everybody has same information. What happens is value of the firm remains at the same level, value of debt increases, value of equity actually comes down, right? Yeah. So let me take you to the next one. Question number 6 it is. So what is the impact of recapitalization on the share price? This is what we are interested in. Okay. So everybody wants to have maximum share price, right? That means question here is what is the impact of recapitalization on the market price per share for the firm, right? Yeah. There are two ways in which you can find out the share price, right? The first method is this. We are going to take total value of equity, that is aggregate value of equity, divided by number of shares, right? So that means under the no debt option, it is going to be 35,715 divided by 500 crores. 35,715, you can just look at the previous page. We have found out the value of equity. Okay, right? Under the debt option, it is 3708. Under the no debt option, it is 35,715 crores, right? So that means 35,715 crores divided by number of shares 500 crores gives us the share price of INR 71.43. If you go for the option of debt, the value of equity aggregate is 3708. Just now I had shown the computation. Divided by revised number of equity shares 430 gives us the revised value or market price per share, that is 71.42. More or less same. So that means it's not changing, right? Yeah. Let's go for the second method of computing share price. So the formula is simple: dividend per share divided by cost of equity. Okay. So dividend per share under the no debt option is 10 divided by cost of equity is 0.14 gives us the share price per share of 71.43 INR. For the second option of debt, right, your DPS is 10.70 divided by cost of equity increases from 14% to 14.98. So that means divided by 0.1498 gives us the share price per share at INR 71.43, right? So that means what you guys find here, both are same, right? Okay, yeah, correct. So Utsav is asking me a question, right? He is asking me there are two methods, right, to compute share price. Which one should we go by, right? Yeah, Utsav, very good question. The answer depends on available data. Okay, so that means if you have availability of right information on DPS, cost of equity, go by this. If you have information on aggregate value of equity and number of shares, go by this, right? Yeah, so that means it looks like the recapitalization is not giving you the desired benefit of increasing the share price per share. The CEO will be disappointed when there are no taxes, right? Yeah, so let's go for the proposition 1. What is the impact of recapitalization on proposition 1? Proposition 1 is this: VL is equal to VU. Value of levered firm is equal to value of unlevered firm. That is what exactly we are getting here, 35,715. Please go to the previous page. Value of firm we are getting equal, right? So that means here it is actually 35,708. Because of rounding of error, it's not coming exactly to 35,715, right? So please don't assume that there are some errors here. No, it's not like that. Okay, so that means proposition 1 is proved. So that means when there are no taxes, capital structure is irrelevant. Yeah, very good. So let's go for proving proposition 2. So proposition 2 says this, right? RE. Okay, that means what is that, right? Could you please tell Kaushik? Right, sorry, Kaustav. Yeah, right. So what is this, Raj? RE is cost of levered equity is equal to cost of unlevered equity REA plus debt equity times the difference between cost of unlevered equity and cost of debt, right? So that means 14% is your unlevered equity, okay, plus debt equity times, that is 0.1628, right? Within bracket the difference between unlevered equity and cost of debt. So that means 14% minus 8%. So if you simplify, you are getting a levered cost of equity of 14.98. Okay, let's go back to our computation. Let's find out whether we are getting exactly this number of 14.98. We have to look at cost of equity computation, right? Yeah, so please see here, we are exactly getting the number of 14.98. So that means proposition 2 is proved, wherein we understand that when a company is borrowing, right, compared to the option of not borrowing, it increases its cost of equity. That's what the formulation, right? That means the unlevered cost of equity, that is the base, plus the addition which happens to you because of your borrowing. So that means the addition happening here is how much? 0.98%, right? So now let's compute the WACC here. WACC is going to be 14% whether you borrow or not, right? So that is the another aspect of your, right, proposition 2, right? Yeah, okay. So second question is right, what is the impact of recapitalization on all those variables what we have described in the previous question? Only difference is when there are taxes, right? So that means in the previous scenario, we assume that there is perfect market, so that means there are no taxes, no flotation cost or a transaction cost, no bankruptcy cost, and everybody has equal information, right? So in that case, whether debt is good or bad, we just described or concluded debt is not giving the desired result. Okay, so that means in those circumstances, debt is not giving you the desired benefit, right? Now the question is, when we are relaxing all those assumptions, whether debt is reaping the benefit or not, right? That is the question, yeah. So that means let's start with the very first one, question A. What is the impact of recapitalization on dividend per share when we assume that there are taxes? Okay, so particulars, no debt like the previous table. So we'll start with revenue INR 15,000 crores for both the option of debt and no debt. So that means it does not change, revenue does not change whether you borrow or not. And then subtract operating expenses including depreciation, amortization, 10,000 crores each. Okay, what you are getting is EBIT of 5,000 crores minus interest on debt. When there is no debt, interest is 0. When there is debt, interest is going to be amount of debt 5,000 crores into 8 by 100, that is the interest rate. So that gives you interest of 400 crores. And we will get EBT, that means EBIT minus interest. For no debt option, EBT is 5,000 crores. For debt option, EBT is 4,600 crores. Minus taxes, assume 30%. In the previous question, we assumed tax to be 0. Now it is 30%, right? So that means 30% on EBT. So that gives us taxes of 1,500 under the no debt option, and it is 1,380 under the debt option, right? So now PAT is EBT minus your tax. So no debt option gives PAT of 3,500 crores, whereas debt option gives you PAT of 3,220 crores. Divided by number of shares, no debt option gives you number of shares of 500 crores, whereas debt option gives you number of shares of how much? Why don't you guys compute this? It is 500 original number of shares minus 5,000 by 50. Now in the previous case it was different, right? The share price was 71.43. Now how come it is coming to 50 is the question, right? Why don't you guys try to answer this, right? So let's, for the time being, let's forget this. Let's look at only the no debt option, right? So that means dividend per share under the no debt option is, right, 3,500. That is your dividend in aggregate. That is nothing but your PAT, because retained earnings are 0. Divided by number of shares 500 crores gives DPS of INR 7 per share. And we can find out current market price using the formula of DPS by cost of equity. DPS per share is 7 divided by cost of equity is 14%, 0.14, gives us the current market price of INR 50 per share. Okay, so I am going to use this same INR 50 per share, because when the company is going to go for buying back the shares, it is going to buy back at the current market price. So that is INR 50 per share, right? So that means come to the other option now, right? So that means number of shares under the recapitalization is going to be 500 crores, that is the existing option, minus the amount of cash we are getting by way of issuing debt, that is 5,000 crores, divided by the current market price 50 crores, gives us 100 crores shares, which is coming under the option of treasury stock or buyback. So that means 500 minus 100 gives us the net number of shares of 400 crores after the buyback. So what is your DPS then? 3,220 divided by 400 crores will give us DPS of INR 8.05 per share. So compared to the previous option, no debt option, DPS increases per share by around 1 rupee 50 by 1 rupee 5 paise, right? So that means what? DPS increases by INR 1.05 per share under the option of taxes. Okay, compared to the previous scenario when there are no taxes, DPS was increasing only by 0.70. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is borrowing helps the company in terms of increasing the dividend per share. So that means if you borrow, your shareholders are going to be happy because the dividend per share is going to increase, right? Yeah, very good. So let's go to second question. So what is the impact of borrowing on levered beta when there are taxes and when there is, right, imperfect capital market, right? So no debt scenario gives us unlevered beta of 1.20. Now let's go for finding out levered beta. Formula is LB is equal to, right, unlevered beta into 1 plus 1 minus t divided by d by e. Okay, so unlevered beta is 1.20, tax rate is 0.30, that is tax rate is 30%, that is 0.30. We have to find out d by e. Debt is 5,000 crores, initial equity is 25,000 crores, that is 500 crores number of shares into INR 50 per share gives us initial equity of 25,000 crores. Revised equity is going to be 25,000 minus 5,000 crores because we bought back 5,000 crores gives us revised equity of 20,000 crores, right? So what is your D by E then? It is 5,000 by 20,000, so that is 0.25. Put all these numbers in the levered beta computation formula, so that is going to be 1.20 into 1 plus 1 minus 0.30 into D by E 0.25 gives us revised levered beta of 1.41. Just look at the computation, guys. So we start with unlevered beta. We find out how much is the debt. We look at what is the initial value of market equity. We look at what is the revised value of market equity. We find out the revised D by E, that is after recap what is the D by E, and then compute levered beta like this, right? Yeah. So levered beta increases by 0.21 compared to unlevered beta. So that means borrowing increases your risk to the shareholders, right? So now let's find out cost of debt, equity and cash flow. That is question C. Okay. So cost of debt is post-tax cost of debt. So 8% for no debt option. Of course, it's not relevant. For the option of borrowing, it is going to be 8% into 1 minus tax rate post-tax cost of debt. So that is 5.6%, right? So now let's compute cost of equity. Again, use CAPM formulation. So under no debt option, it is 8% plus 1.2 into 5% premium gives us 14% as cost of equity. Under the debt option, it is 8% plus 1.41 into 5 gives us the revised cost of equity of 15.05. So it is actually increasing by 1.05%. So that means borrowing increases cost of equity for the firm. Now let's compute WACC or cost of capital, right? So it is 14% under the no debt option because there is no debt. So it means cost of equity becomes cost of, right, capital. Whereas under the option of borrowing, it is going to change, right? So how it is changing? Let's first find out post-tax cost of debt. Let's also find out weighted post-tax cost of debt, right? So that is going to be 8 into 1 minus 0.30. This is what your post-tax cost of debt, that is around 5.6%, which we have already computed, into value of debt divided by value of the firm. That is 5,000 divided by 25,000 crores. 5,000 is the new borrowing. 25,000 crores is the total value of the firm. So that gives you weighted cost of debt of 1.12% plus cost of equity revised 15.05 into equity by value 20,000 by 25,000 gives you revised weighted cost of equity of 12.04. Add these two, that is giving you your WACC, right, for the recap option. So that is 13.16%, right? Yeah, please look at the right numbers, guys. So it is actually coming down, right? Why it is coming down, right? Can you please think about it? Yeah, it is coming down because of the cost of debt. Because there are taxes, borrowing helps you in reducing your cost of debt, even though cost of equity increases. So that means the magnitude of decrease in cost of debt is more than the magnitude of increase in cost of equity. Thereby the entire firm is reaping the benefit in terms of your cost of capital, right? So this is one of the important observation we need to make, right? Yeah, I take you to the right inferences. I already told you, but I am comparing with the previous question answers. Cost of equity increases by 1.05% in tax scenario, whereas it was increasing by only 0.98% in the no tax scenario. So that means borrowing when there are taxes increases cost of equity at a higher magnitude. WACC decreases by 0.84% in the tax scenario, whereas it was decreasing by 0% in no tax scenario. That means borrowing decreases WACC at a very higher magnitude when there are taxes compared to the option of no taxes. Pre-tax cost of debt remains the same. Post-tax cost of debt decreases by 2.4% in the tax scenario compared to the no tax scenario. That means, in essence, borrowing helps you in reducing your cost of capital. The next question is, what is the impact on cash flow to debt holders, equity holders and firm, right, when there are taxes? So no debt scenarios or options. Debt holders, basically interest is a cash flow. For no debt scenario it is 0. For debt scenario it is INR 400 crores. Equity shareholders, dividend is the only cash flow. Under the no debt option it is 3500 crores. Under the debt option it is 3220 crores. For the firm it is EBIT into 1 minus T. As I told you already, please don't add up these two. That is equity cash flow plus debt cash flow. That will not give you cash flow to the firm. Don't do that. Rather you take EBIT into 1 minus T. So it means 5000 into 1 minus, right, 0.3, that is 0.7 gives you 3500 crores. Here also it is the same 3500 crores. Okay. So what do you observe here? Cash flow increases for debt holders. Cash flow decreases for equity holders in aggregate, whereas firm cash flow remains at the same level, right? So let's go for the right last but one, value of debt, equity and firm. Value of debt is, right, computed by the formula interest by pre-tax cost of debt. When there is no debt it is 0. When there is debt it is 400 by 0.08 gives us the value of debt at 5000 crores. Value of equity is computed by the formula dividend by cost of equity. When there is no debt it is 3500 by 0.14 gives us the value of equity in aggregate at 25,000 crores. When there is debt it is 3220 by 0.1505 gives us the aggregate value for equity of 21,395 crores. Firm value is computed by the formula EBIT into 1 minus T by WACC. So the answer under no debt option is 3500 by 0.14, that is 25,000 crores. The answer under the debt option is 3500 divided by 0.1316. The value increases, okay, to 26,596 crores. So what is the conclusion here? Value of equity decreases by INR 3605 crores. Please look at the numbers. Yeah, value of firm increases by INR 1596 crores. Just look at this, right? Why this is happening? Because the numerator is same but denominator is coming down. Cost of capital is coming down. That means more value for the firm, right? So that means firm is gaining because of borrowing. So the next one is what is the impact of recapitalization on share price? I told you in the previous question itself there are two ways of finding out. The first one is equity value divided by number of shares. So that means for no debt option it is 25,000 crores divided by 500 crores gives us INR 50 per share. For debt option it is 21,395 crores divided by 400 gives us value of INR 53.49 per share. Or the other method is dividend per share divided by cost of equity. For no debt option it is 7 by 0.14, that is INR 50 per share. For debt option it is 8.05 divided by 0.1505 gives us INR 53.49 per share. So that means the share price is increasing by INR 3.49 per share. So now let us try to find out the impact of recap on revised proposition 1, which states this: VL is equal to VU plus within bracket tax rate into debt amount. VL is value of levered firm, VU is value of unlevered firm, right? So that means value of unlevered firm is 25,000 crores plus tax rate is 30%, 0.30 into debt amount is 5,000 crores gives us INR 26,500 crores. Yeah. So let's go to the last one, wherein we are trying to find out the impact of recap on revised proposition 2, right? Wherein cost of levered equity RE is equal to cost of unlevered equity RA plus debt equity times 1 minus tax rate into difference between cost of unlevered equity and cost of debt. So that means cost of levered equity is equal to 14% plus 0.25 into 1 minus 0.30 into 14% minus 8. Okay, so that gives us 15.05, right? So that means the revised cost of equity is 15.05%, right? That's what proposition 2 says, right? So let's look at the numbers. Let's verify whether we are getting 15.05, right? Yeah, see here cost of equity, guys. Yeah, so it is exactly 15.05, right? So that means our computation is right. Yeah, so WACC actually comes down, right? That's the most important point. WACC is not remaining same here. WACC is coming down, whereas in initial proposition 2 WACC was remaining same, right? Yeah, so the conclusion is this: recapitalization when there are taxes, that is the real life environment, increases dividend per share, increases levered beta, increases cost of equity but decreases WACC. Okay, cash flow to debt holders increases, equity holders decreases. For firm it is remaining at the same level. Value of debt increases, value of equity decreases, value of firm increases. Share price per share increases. This is the most important one. This is what our CEO Randhir wanted to do. Okay, so that means what he wanted is happening under the recap option, and we have proved proposition 1 and proposition 2 also, right? Yeah, so that's it, guys. So in summary, right, we have answered 2 questions in this video. Question number 1 is on whether, right, your recap is impacting DPS, cost of debt, equity capital, equity beta, cash flow, right, value, share price, and MM1 and MM2 proposition when there are no taxes. The second question is what is the impact of recap on all these variables when there are taxes, right? Yeah. See you guys in the next video. Please take care.